Hey YouTube, in this video I'm gonna go ahead and change the belt on my DeWalt DW734. Okay, last week I had a belt break off on me while I was planing, and I just received a replacement here, which is what I'm gonna go ahead and change it with. This one has a 9 rib. So very first thing that I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna remove this dust chute. Okay, there is a couple of screws, one here, there's one on the opposite side, and then there's one underneath, which we can't really see yet. So if we get to the back right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove those. You want to go ahead and ensure that you are not plugged in or anything. Your machine is not plugged in or anything. Okay. Now there's some screws up top right here. You can see I have about 4 of them. One here, 2, 3, and 4. Now the machine already comes with a tool to actually remove those screws. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and use. Alright, so before I proceed, I'm going to go ahead and find another bit, a Torx bit, that's going to fit this. I don't want my screws to get damaged. Alright, so I found a T30 Torx screw. I'm going to go ahead and spray a little bit of WD-40 on these bolts. Hopefully it loosens them up a little bit and I don't have any issues stripping the screws. Alright, so I'm also going to have to remove the handle here because of course if I try to remove it, there's a screw on the handle that's going to be holding it down. And this one's the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and spray it with the WD-40. Here's my screw. I'm just going to leave it in the handle so I don't lose it. Alright, now that I have removed all 4 bolts as well as the screw for the handle, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this cover piece. Okay, right here I just brought you over to the other side of the planer, and right here I have exposed where my belt goes. My belt goes from here to this bigger wheel right here. Okay, go ahead and clean off a little bit of the residue. I think whenever this belt got damaged, it actually melted a little bit onto the big wheel right here. There's a little bit of residue. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a brush, clean off the ribs right here on this big wheel. And while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and remove all this caked up sawdust and little shavings that are right here. Pretty much clean up the machine before I go ahead and put on the belt. Okay, so now that I have cleaned it, I'm gonna go ahead and try to fit in this belt. All right, I kind of got it in there. Now I just have to move it over to where all the 9 ribs are on the smaller pulley. And one more on the big one. So as I'm turning it, I'm trying to push it in. Okay, it looks like I got him on the smaller pulley. Now I gotta push it on the bigger pulley. There it is. Sorry if you can really see it. I had to kind of move the tripod that I have my camera standing on. But there you go. So I went ahead and put the belt in boiling water for maybe about a minute. Okay, It didn't feel like it loosened up too much. So as you guys can see, I was having some trouble putting it in the pulleys. But I went ahead and put it on the pulley, the smaller pulley, as much as I could. And little by little, I started putting it on the bigger pulley while I was turning it. And I got some of the ribs, maybe one less on the smaller pulley and about 2 on this bigger pulley. So what I did was I tried to put that one rib, or that 9th rib, on the rib that's closer to me, and then as I started pulling, kind of guided in those ribs onto that wheel or that pulley. And that is how you replace this belt on the DW734 Type 1 thickness planer. Now you can go ahead and just in a reverse order, go ahead and put your planer back together. Okay, so you would go ahead and put your top back on, your screws, your 4 screws, and then your elevation screw as well. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at my blades, see how my blades are doing. I don't think I have changed the direction of my blades. I think it's gonna be about time to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this back right here to expose my blades. It's a little plastic part. Sorry about the glare. But same thing with the torque screw that comes with your machine. What we gotta do is loosen up this screw here, and there's one on the opposite side as well. If I forgot to mention, this tool that comes with your machine right here, it has some magnets, so you can utilize them if you drop a screw or just to pull your screws or whatnot. I'm just gonna go ahead and set my screws off to the side, and I should be able to remove this. So this part came off. There's a little bit of sawdust on here. Set it off to the side. As you can see, I went ahead and exposed my blades here. Okay. And just be careful whenever you're touching your blades so you don't cut yourself. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and check them out. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and replace my blades, or not replace my blades, turn my blades around to expose the new side. And once again, I'm gonna go ahead and use some WD-40, loosen up my screws. All right, so I repositioned the camera. Hopefully you can actually see what I'm doing, okay? So here I have my exposed blade, and this is the last one that I'm gonna be doing. The previous ones, I already went ahead and replaced and retightened the screws. Okay, and I marked them with a little blue line with a Sharpie. There's one. There's the second one. Okay, so this third one is the one that I just need to do now. These screws are nice and tight, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my ratchet. Loosen them up with the ratchet first. Alright, now that I have loosened them up with the ratchet, I can go ahead and use my drill. And loosen these screws up. Alright, now that I have taken off all the screws, I'm gonna go ahead and use my little tool magnet. Set this cover off to its side, grab my blade, clean off my blade just a little bit, clean off where my blade is sitting, flip my blade around, set it where it's supposed to be. You can tell where it's supposed to be. If you take a look, there's some little nipples coming out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and place those on the grooves on my blade. Set it back in place. Grab that blade cover, just the way that I took it out. Place it on top. Then I can go ahead and set a few of these screws. All right, and retie them back up. I'm gonna go ahead and come back and grab my ratchet and tighten them up fully. And I think I just broke one of these screws. And I'm gonna go ahead and mark. Yeah, you see right here, I just broke one of these screws. I'm gonna need an extractor to actually remove that. I'm not gonna show that on this video, or I'm probably not even gonna do it. Okay, just because I have 7 more screws that are gonna be holding this blade down together. So next time that I need to replace my blades, that's when I'm gonna go ahead and replace this screw right here. Go ahead and make sure that all my screws are nice and tight. That's the first one. I'm sure that first one is. Try not to break any other ones. All right, and that's it. That's how you replace these blades. Okay, last thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, before I clean the rest of my machine off and start placing everything back together, I'm gonna go ahead and mark right here the date of when I replaced these blades. So today's date is November 19, 2017. Okay. And I didn't replace them, I just went ahead and rotated. Alright, so I have gone ahead and cleaned it up. Very first thing that I did was vacuum it, kind of vacuum all the sawdust off. Then I went ahead and utilized my air compressor, blew it out, and cleaned up for the most part as much as I can. I also went ahead and applied a little bit of wax on some paste wax on the table right here, so that my pieces can actually slide nice and easy on my planer. Okay, now put it back together. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this piece that I removed to expose the blades. Put it back in here. I'm going to go ahead and push it as close to the machine as possible. And tighten up my screws. There you go. And I actually put the handle back on here. I'm going to go ahead and remove it again. I put it back on here to actually raise the planer so I can actually clean up the rollers. But I need to remove it again so I could put the top back on. Alright, see, when I was trying to put it on, I think this was getting in the way. So, let's try again. Alright, I put the handle. I can go ahead and grab the other screws. Go up here. Alright, and then the last thing is going to be that dust chute. Here's my dust chute. And for this one, all you need is a Phillips screwdriver for all 3 screws.
Side first.
Alright, so in this video right here, I showed you how to replace the belt. I also showed you how to, since I already had my planer exposed, I showed you how to replace the blades. Well, not really replace the blades, I actually just rotated the blades on mine, but it's the same concept as replacing your blades. Okay, I went ahead and wrote down the date of when I rotated my blades. That way I know I have it for future reference. I know that next time I want to go ahead and get some new sharp edges, I will need to replace the actual blades and not just rotate them. Okay, thank you very much for watching.